Welcome to the kitchen of the boutique. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about styling the kitchen. An odd place? Maybe, but hear me out. The kitchen oftentimes is the place that gets the most use. It's the heart of the home, and it's probably the easiest place to get messy, cluttered, and it's just for function. But I'm here to tell you tonight that the kitchen can be functional and beautiful at the same time. So the kitchen gets used a lot, right? Like every day, several times a day, or a couple times a day in our case. We do breakfast and dinner at home almost every night. So our kitchen gets used a lot. It becomes the dumping zone. It's the place where we're kind of rushing around just to hurry up and eat a breakfast. And sometimes it can get messy. So if we can pan over here, we've got dirty dishes on the counter because, we were in a hurry. We've got the dish towel and the wash rag because obviously you've got to do dishes. And we've got our cleaning bottles. I do a lot of cooking, so I've got my cookbooks. Our utensils, of course, and the hot pads were left out. Oopsie, because I was too busy to put them away last night. Just pretending, of course, because this is the boutique's kitchen. Typically there would be a stove top here or some kind of cooktop. And then we're kind of using this as our coffee station on this end. And we got some mail in yesterday, and well, that's still out too. So the very first thing you need to do is declutter. Let's take care of those dirty dishes, get them popped in the dishwasher or wash them in the sink, put away the mail, and maybe put those hot pads away too. We've decluttered a bit, getting rid of those dirty dishes, throwing those in the dishwasher. We got rid of our mail and some of our other little cluttery things, but the kitchen still doesn't look very appealing, does it? So we're gonna start with this corner. In previous videos, I've talked about the cocktail table and how things should have a home to go to, and if they have a home, it looks less cluttered. We want to do the same thing with the kitchen as well. So we're going to use a big tray because I've got the space, and we're going to tuck that away in this corner. And I'm thinking that maybe our coffee station might serve us better over here instead of over there. So I'm going to take all those K-cups that are kind of sitting on the counter out where I can see them and maybe nestle them into a little container. This way, they're tucked away in a home too. A home in a home. And we're going to rest that right on our tray. Also left a bottle of wine out last night. Yum. We're going to put it in its home as well. Let's give the books a home as well. They're beautiful cookbooks. They're very nice looking on the cover. So we're going to use them as display as well. Now, I do have some cookbooks that are looking pretty shabby. They were my grandmother's, and they've got all the stains and all of the lovely things that have sentimental value to me, but don't necessarily need to be on display. Those we can tuck away. But for these special books that look very nice, we're going to put those out on our little tray home. And because it's fall, let's add a little fall decor to the tray as well. Because the kitchen doesn't need to look cold. It doesn't all have to be utilitarian. Let's add maybe a floral arrangement. And let's add a little fall. Let's add a pumpkin. So we've cleaned up this corner, giving a home to our books, our wine bottle, and our K-cups, and added a little design to it as well, just to make it look warm and inviting. Since we're standing next to the sink, let's talk about this a little bit. Now, yes, we need the dish soap. Yes, we need the hand soap. Yes, some paper towel, washcloths. But we don't have to look like this all the time. Let's maybe give the paper towel a nice little home. We've got a great little metal stand that we use at the shop. So the paper towel stays nice and tidy. And let's maybe, instead of hanging the dish rag on top of the sink, let's maybe give it a little home as well, like this little dish. And let's maybe swap and put our hand soap in a beautiful And we could do the same for the dish soap as well, putting it in a taller pump. Hand towels we do need, and maybe a nice hanger on the inside of a cabinet door would be nice. Or if you've got pretty towels to display, you can just tuck those in a handle in your cabinets. I would be careful doing this, however, because if they are wet, the wet towel could damage the finish on your cabinet. So a little rack on the interior of your cabinet door would be great for hanging and displaying there. Nothing's there, so, you know. But that's much better, wouldn't you agree? Getting rid of the dirty dishes and finding a home for all the little utensils. We also at home have this cute little basket that nestles inside of our sink, and that's where our scrubby sits and our scrub brush nests. Again, they have a home and keeping all of this nice and tidy. All right, come here a second. Let's talk about this. Now, I get it. We've got those utensils that we use all the time, and they need to be out next to the cooktop. Remember, we're imagining there's a cooktop here. But come on, a glass just straight out of the cupboard, I get it that it serves its purpose, but we've got two things going on. One, it looks like you shoved utensils into a glass, because that's exactly what you just did. And the glass is a little too small for these utensils. They're all kind of crammed in there. So we're going to use something a little more decorative with a wider mouth. Now this mouth is a little wide for the amount of utensils I have currently out, but in real life, I've got way more utensils than 4 that I'm using while I'm cooking. So that looks much better than this. Wouldn't you agree? Let's also address the fruit and veggie bowl. Now, I keep my potatoes, my onions, lemons, limes, bananas. I keep all of those things out on the counter, easy access, right? But I think we can do something a little classier than the plastic bowl from the cupboard to do so. So there's a couple of things you can do. One, do a nice stylish bowl, or you could do, especially with your fruit, something really pretty and tiered. And wrap your bananas around, or nestle all your different fruits and veggies on. Now, obviously, there would probably be more on this than what I've got right now, but just for teaching's sake, we're just using a few items. So that is far more attractive than the plastic bowl. To finish off the balanced look, I just added a couple of fall decor items. This may be too much for you. Say maybe you don't have a whole lot of counter space and you don't have a whole lot of room for decor. This alone is beautiful enough. Or if you just wanted to add that and the little pumpkin, you could do that as well. But in this case, we've got the space, so we're gonna add the little fall foliage along with our pumpkin. And now we have a beautiful and useful kitchen. All right, folks, now our sound should be back and working properly. Sorry about that. Thank you for hanging tight and until things got fixed. So tonight we're talking about the heart of the home, the kitchen. I don't know about your family, but whenever we have a family function, everybody tends to swarm to the kitchen. We tend to gather there, and that's just, if a meal's being prepared, everybody ends up in the kitchen. And thank you. All right, so when we're working in the kitchen space, it tends to get cluttered because it's an area that we have a lot of action going on. We've got, cooking and preparing going on. Our countertop sometimes ends up to be the mail dumping zone. It tends to gather clutter. So the very first thing, as I said in the beginning of the video, is to declutter the kitchen. Find a home for all of the mail, find a home for your utensils, find a home for things to go. The first thing is to try to clear all your countertops off, then decide what's absolutely necessary to be on them, leave those items out, and then add a couple decor items here and there just to soften the kitchen and make it feel warm and cozy and homey. You don't have to have a lot out, but just a couple items here and there really do finish off the space and make it look less utilitarian and more cozy. So, before we move on, I wanted to share with you a new and exciting thing that's at the boutique. We kind of mentioned last week that we have a new artist in our midst with product for sale. Her name is Madeline Arian, and she's from this area. She's originally from Pinehurst, and she's a mama to be, and just a beautiful person inside and out. One of the collections that we have from Madeline is her Amphore collection. This is one of those pieces. So this collection is a classical mini-series of ceramic studies that are drawn from inspiration of the recent discoveries in the excavation of antiquities in Odessa, Ukraine. So Madeline's intent was to pay tribute to classicism as well as bring in some modern edge to her works. These pieces are a hand-painted oil study. So the pots that you see, those are hand-painted oil. Then that hand-painted oil is adhered to this board and then painted with an eggshell crackle acrylic finish. Each piece is framed, beautifully framed. Some have a hanger as well as easel stem so they can rest nicely on a tabletop or a bookcase or something like that. Each are also signed by Madeline, and really beautiful, beautiful pieces. This is the largest of the collection. Last week I shared a few of her other pieces as well, but wanted to just give her another shout out tonight. Now last week we also shared with you some of her coasters. I shared the natural coasters, and tonight I wanted to share with you some of her more brightly colored coasters that we have in the boutique. These are ceramic. Let me give you the dimension here because I have it on my sheet. They're 3.5 inches in diameter on a ceramic coaster. So what she takes is a white ceramic, then she hand paints the resin, uses a heat gun, and blows across that resin, and you get that lacing detail that you see in the white. There we go, try to get the reflection off of there. Then she flips them over, and as you can imagine, when you add heat to resin, it gets very drippy on the back side. So she scrapes all of that off, then adheres the cork on the bottom. So a lot of time and effort go into each and every one of these. This is a collection of 4. There are 4 pieces in this coaster collection. And as I said, because they're hand done, each and every one is slightly different than the other. She does a nice little gift packaging where she wraps twine around each of them, each of the stacks, and I just think they're fantastic. The coaster set is $40, and just a beautiful, beautiful set. A nice piece of art that's usable.
We shared that last week, the other set as well. There was another set we have that are my favorite. And yeah, I can't wait to make them part of my office. I'm going to get her to make me a set for my office.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I really, really enjoy those.
You have not met her yet.
I have not.
So oftentimes people will pop in and share their works, and we see if it's a good fit for the boutique. We want to make sure that it's fair to the artisan as well as us, and this was definitely a great fit, and we're pretty excited to have her be a part. One day you'll meet her live on the show. We'll make arrangements for that. And here comes James.
We had, if you were with us last week, we had the segment where I was challenged to make a bouquet. And,
pretty good job.
I did all right, and I did burn with the torch.
And himself.
Yeah, it's a little melty plastic. I had to feel
don't
play
fire in plastic.
Yeah, so it still stinks a little bit today. So I'm not doing anything tonight's show that requires fire or anything else. But we do have an idea for an upcoming show.
One required fire either.
Well, it didn't require fire, but I mean, I just thought it was a good addition. I thought it added something to the show.
Okay.
But we do have a couple of ideas. The fusion paint that we sell, we've got an event coming up where I'm going to be challenged to paint a table during the show. So I'm looking forward to that one. So that one's coming up soon. We're just getting the logistics of that in place, but we're still looking for other ideas of what I can do during the show where Ashton can get, checking in with me and seeing how I'm doing. So, so far we came up with a bouquet. We've come up with painting the table. A jumbo sandwich being cut with a chainsaw was mentioned, but we are looking. But yeah, it could have been. But we are still looking for other ideas. If you have some ideas, please jump on the chat either on Facebook or on YouTube. We go live on Facebook and YouTube together,
And Twitch.
And so sometimes you don't know who else is watching or who else is commenting. So we're here in the studio commenting back and forth on different comment streams, whether you're coming from wherever you're watching us.
So I saw a shout out from Maria about staying cool. Hi, Maria. We are trying really hard. It is very hot.
It's very hot, and it's getting hotter and hotter as we go on. Yes. And Maria, I need to say thank you for letting me know where your fig tree was. I have never plucked a fig fresh from a tree and eaten it. I have not. So when you texted me and said, hey, while you're at the house working, if you want some figs, just down there by the yellow chairs by the lake, there's a fig tree. Well, and I got to say, the dead crow did give me a start. I didn't realize
Did she have the dead crow or another house?
No, it's in the tree.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's obviously to deter other crows, but I didn't know it was there, and I was just picking, and I about grabbed
Was that because you picked figs at two homes?
Yeah, it was at Marie's. So, but anyways, that was the first fig that I had. I plucked it from the tree and I ate it. It was delicious. A little later on that week, on Wednesday, I was at another house on the lake, and the lady at that house said, do you like fresh figs? I love them. I love them right from the tree. So she gave me a whole bag of them to bring home, and I got to be honest, by the time I got home, it was an empty bag. They are delicious. Thank you. If you never had a fig from a fig tree, like just right, whether kind of green and purpley and oh, so good. But that's all I had to add.
So, note to self, while you're working in people's homes.
Yeah, I'm going to start asking if they have a fig tree. Yes.
They're feeding you.
They are feeding me, yes. And there might have been a mixed drink involved too. I'm just saying.
So, James, what's your favorite part about the kitchen?
The food. Primarily the food.
Primarily food. Preparing it or eating it?
Preparing. I enjoy it, and I'm not, I'm a big breakfast guy. Yeah. I do breakfast here for the staff every Friday. I make breakfast for everybody. It's just something I love to do. I'm up earlier than you in the mornings. and I get in the kitchen and I get breakfast going. I mean, if from the time my feet hit the floor out of bed to the time I'm eating needs to be no more than 15 minutes or I get a little cranky. So I do breakfast. I love cooking in the kitchen, and I kind of like that in the morning it's quiet and I've got it to myself and I just get in there and do what I want to do. And I enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating as well.
So for you, I believe it's the same as me. We like to try to keep the kitchen clutter-free as best we can.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
somebody leaves all the popcorn stuff out after she makes popcorn in the evening, and then I can't have my space to make breakfast in the morning. But that's sometimes.
And sometimes somebody leaves his breakfast pan and lid and spatula and
all over the stove.
butter all over the stove. And sometimes somebody, I don't know who it is, but sometimes somebody even leaves the burner going while they're sitting down and eating breakfast.
Yeah,
I don't know who that might be.
Okay, but let's be honest. For every time I've left a burner going, you've left the oven on after we're eating dinner.
Touche.
Yes.
I think we're even.
Yes. We burn electricity and gas like it's free.
Yes. Sometimes our minds are just on other things.
Yep.
Like your
The
homes.
food.
The food in your home.
That's right. All right, well, moving on to the next. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting. I'm telling you, remind me of her name? Madeline. I'm looking forward to meeting Madeline. I have not yet. There's a picture of her. People come into the shop and they bring in different things. And like you say, sometimes it fits, sometimes it's not. And I think I've met all of our vendors now except for one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to one of those items that we talked about in our video. Just about knocked something over and broke it.
We were in a beautiful, beautiful antique store. It's probably our favorite one now that we found in High Point, and they had the prettiest set of glasses. Well, they weren't cheap.
We came this close to owning a broken set of glasses.
Because I reached up to grab one, and I had big, old, fat fingers got in there. Well, they all went, but I saved them all.
Yes.
So I'll get upset now for a bracelet.
Yes. So we had added in that tiered tray. Now, this comes in really handy for those fruits and vegetables like I was talking about. If you like to keep your onions out, or some oranges, some bananas, lemons, limes, those kinds of things that you like to grab and go, this is perfect for that. Or you can also use it as a decor item. So you can style it up for whatever season it may
Or
be.
cupcakes.
Yes, you can also use it as a dessert serving tray. You could use it as a little appetizer serving tray. I can see little sandwiches, little finger sandwiches on this, maybe like finger sandwiches on the bottom, a little veggie nibble, and then maybe
Butter
a
tarts on the
couple
top.
of desserts on top, butter tarts or macaroons or something like that. It's heavy in weight, and the finish is a cool silver finish, and the top with the two little cherries is done in a gold finish. It's $162.99, and again, very heavy, nice and sturdy and stout. Very nicely made. Another item that we talked about that was very useful, but also pretty, are the soap dish and the soap dispenser. Now, the soap dish in the video I used as a little tray to hold the washcloth. And it comes in handy for that, or if you like to use a block of dish soap. I know my kids, a couple of our kids like to use the block with the scrubby brush, and they wet the brush and scrub it on the bar of soap, and that is the dish soap. This comes in handy for that as well. Beautifully made ceramic with the cool little arched texture going through. And this soap dish is $10. And for some reason, I ended up with this guy instead of the pump.
Oh.
They do. This would be actually great to add like those little, like your Brillo pad or something like that. This would be great for those things.
I was thinking dishwasher pods.
Or, yep, you could throw a few dishwasher pods in there. But we also have that really pretty hand soap pump that's perfect for just keeping, I like to keep hand soap at the sink because when I'm working with chicken or with meats or something like that, or egg, after I've handled that, I want to wash my hands immediately so I don't cross contaminate things. So the soap dispenser is $30. Now on our countertop, we've got the little dispenser that comes out of the countertop. So it's got the little pump in it and you fill the reservoir that is held underneath the countertop. I really like that as well because then you don't have that dish soap bottle sitting on the countertop. Now sometimes you have to think, I need to fill that, instead of just grabbing the dish container, and this is confession time. But yeah, so, but it's nice because again, the whole idea is to have fewer cluttery items and have homes for them. Just like in previous videos, I've talked about things having a home on a cocktail table or maybe the entry table coming in. If everything has a little home to go to, it looks less cluttered. And because of the size of the home, for those objects, those items, it also limits you on what you can pile up on it. So another great idea would be to maybe do a little teak tray or a little wooden tray for that soap dispenser and the little dish to rest on so that you're not piling other things up around it and you're just keeping that space tidy and neat. All right. With that said, let's move on to another space in the kitchen. Now, many of us have a bar area or an extension of the countertop with a few bar stools or the kitchen table to gather around. Here's a couple ideas for that space. We've got a counter area that we utilize as a bar, or we have an island with seating around it. And why not dress that up as well? Usually we dress things up and set nice place settings out when company's about to come. But why do we always do that? Why not treat yourself? Why not let your house look pretty just for you? I've got 2 place settings in our home. It's my husband and I. So I've got 2 place settings all ready to go for the next meal. I've done this in a way that I'm thinking for dinner tonight, we're going to do a nice little salad, a little something to start, and then our dinner. So I have 3 dishes out. And I probably wouldn't have this much glassware out for just the 2 of us for a regular night, but we're feeling a little fancy. We might do a glass of water and a glass of wine. We've got our grab and go fruit all ready to go in a beautiful bowl. And we've also thrown in a few decor items. So the bar is still useful, still has space, not to be a dumping zone, but to actually use in the way it was intended, to sit and dine. Say company is going to pop over. The nice thing about this piece is I've got some storage underneath. So because I'm keeping it clear of clutter and just set up for dining, I've got my friend coming over for lunch, so we've got room to pull out a nice pretty charcuterie, and it's already set up for us to do our nice little nibbles. So, I don't even know where that slide went, so we're just going to talk about it right now. All right, I was just telling Ashlyn I was having troubles with some of my uploads, and because of that, I wasn't able to get some of the bar images up, but you got a good view of that bar. Let's talk about that space a little bit. So, I like things to look pretty. And even though company is not coming over, our dining room is always set like it is. Our kitchen table is always kept pretty clutter-free, with nice placemats on it, and usually a little something in the center, just to look nice.
I may have been at the kitchen table this evening changing watch batteries, so not so clutter-free right now.
No, yeah, so, but it will be this evening.
It will be.
Yes, because he'll put all of his watch things away, because he's done with that project for now, I think.
2 down, 38 to go.
Yeah, the 2 you want to use.
The 2 I want to use over the next week.
Yes. So, why do we wait until company comes over to make our house look pretty? Make it look pretty for you. Enjoy it for yourself. That's the whole point of this space that we were talking about with the bar. Now, the particular bar that I was standing at.
I want to interject something on the renovation side of our business. We can't count how many people call us up and say, I'm getting ready to sell my house. Can we put in a new tile floor? Can we put in a kitchen backsplash? Can we put in new granite countertops? I'm like, these are things that last a long, long, long time. You could have put it in 2 years ago and enjoyed it this whole time. But it's funny how many people wait until they're ready to sell their house to do something nice.
True.
And it's like, you know what? You can do it every day with your keeping it clutter-free, like you're talking about. But also on the renovation side of things, it surprises me all the time. And people always ask, well, what is going to be neutral for resale? Because we're putting it on the market as soon as you're done. And I hear that all the time. I'm like, but
Fix
why?
it for you.
Fix it for you. Go ahead and do it now. We're selling in 2 years. Get some value out of it, because, on a kitchen renovation, you only get about 80% back on a good day of what you put in. So if you put $60,000 into your kitchen, you're not getting $60,000 more on the resale. So instead, do the renovation now. Enjoy it for the last few years. You're going to live there until you sell it and move to your next place. But we run into that. Just when you said that about, do it for yourself,
Yes.
that made me think of that. 'Cause that's something we see all the time on the renovation side.
Yes. So, do it to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not just because
And there's value in that.
Yes.
There is a lot of value. Like, we bought new kitchen chairs 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And the old ones are getting a little worn out, and we've had them for a few years, and they're getting a little worn. And so we bought new kitchen chairs. Did we need new kitchen chairs? Not really. I mean, the old ones were still good, but they were just starting to show somewhere.
They were
I'll tell
looking
you
a
what,
little shabby.
how enjoyable to sit at nice new chairs. And we just had Ashlyn over for dinner the other night, and one of the first things she noticed was, you got new chairs. We had house guests just recently, and they noticed new chairs. And it is nice to do some things around the house. And then don't wait until it's tired knee, until it's slam wore out. Treat yourself.
Now, I'm not saying that everybody has the budget to treat themselves on a big thing like a kitchen remodel
No.
or that remodel.
No.
If you can, that's great. And as James said, do it to enjoy it, not just
Yeah.
to sell the house. But there's little things that you can do too.
Oh, yeah.
Like the addition of this little bar that we talked about. The rustic looking bar. It's on the price sheet, James.
And the nice thing about the bar is that it's something you can do that updates your space, but you also then own it and you get to take it with you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you get to take it to the next house. Different from doing a home renovation where you get to update the space and enjoy it, but it stays there when you leave. So purchasing furniture, purchasing pieces for your house, new china, crystal, whatever, pots and pans, anything. It's nice to do things like that for yourself, and those things you will take with you, which makes a difference. The bar is 41 inches high, 60 inches wide, and 24 inches deep, and it sells for $6.99. And it's a great piece.
$6.99. There's a lot
yeah.
of storage on the back side
There
of
is
that. I'll make a
bottles,
post.
drawers.
Since my video didn't work, I'll make the post with the bar because it really is a nice piece.
Yeah.
Very useful and also stylish.
Yeah.
So.
And we need to move the BARRON because we're getting ready to do something else.
Yes.
It'll be coming up in the next
We'll
video.
talk about
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, James had mentioned, China.
I got every time I stand here, I got each new episode on my face.
Stand the other direction. There you go. So why not treat yourself to a nice set of dishes? This dish set, I saw Mickey comment about she likes the blue plates, and I do too, Mickey. I think they're really, really pretty. They're nicely done. So this is what they call the pasta bowl. And James,
Pasta bowl, you could eat cereal out of it, you could eat soup out of it.
And Ashlyn, I think the next slide has pricing on these.
So pasta bowl is $15.
Oh, maybe not. So pasta bowl is $15.
Yeah.
The cereal bowl
is $13.50. And it's a little bit bigger, This, if you put soup in there, would cool off a little bit quicker, a little bit easier to eat. The tighter, taller bowls will actually hold soup hotter longer. The bigger bowls let more airspace, so it cools off quicker.
This is the salad plate.
$13.50.
And the dinner plate.
Which is $16.50.
Now, you're seeing these in whites and blues. Well, the whole set, you can get the whole set in that teal blue, or you can get the whole set in the natural.
Yeah.
We mixed it up so that you could see the two different finishes and see how nicely they pair together.
That looks pretty on the table too when you do the two different ones.
Yes. So looks really, really pretty when it's all stacked together. Is it practical to stack all of them together? No. But does it look pretty?
Unless you're starting with soup and then you're having Rice Krispies, and then you're having your salad, and then you're having your pork chops.
Rice Krispies.
Well, whatever. I'm thinking on the fly. Freddy's? I don't know. I don't know. What are the kids eating these days?
You can do that. So
Captain Crunch a lot.
say maybe you were doing soup and salad to start. And
this isn't even a nice salad. You put a nice salad in the bowl.
Yes. So, James was mentioning about, doing nice things for yourself like this. And it made me think about, we wanted new cutlery for our kitchen.
Yep.
And we decided we put it out a jar. And every time we had some loose change or a couple bucks in our purse or our wallet, we stuffed those bills or change into the jar. And then when we had enough, we went out and we bought a really nice set.
We had a really nice set of Heinkel everyday cutlery. It's really nice. We really enjoy it, and it wasn't. We just run out to Walmart and
we didn't go out and buy the cheapest.
The $12 package. We went out and got something nice, but we had saved up for it. We put money away intentionally for that, just because we wanted something that was different. Something was nice.
Yes. So we had hand-me-downs of cutlery. And it was all mismatched.
43 patterns, I think we had.
And that was, it served.
It worked. It still fed you. It still cut the steak. It still fed you. It still stirred the coffee.
But we just had the idea, let's do something really nice for ourselves. And so
one of our mottos that we said years ago was we want in our lives to have fewer, nicer things. So not fewer, nicer things, but we want fewer things, and the things we have, we want them to be nicer things. So we kind of went with the motto of fewer, nicer things. So instead of having, we're not a dollar store people. We don't believe in buying 40 of something for 50 cents each. We would rather go out and buy one really nice thing for $80 and have it. So that's what we try, and that you will find immediately cuts your clutter when you stop buying dollar store stuff and you start intentionally looking at things that you want and that you can save up for and you can appreciate more because you didn't spend a nickel on it, you spent money on it, then I feel like the clutter goes down.
Yes.
And you are more apt to put it away and take care of it because
you spent money on it. Real money on it. Yeah. All right. Another local artist that we have, you saw this in the
Like one of
video
Mr.
as well.
Plowman's pieces.
It is. This is one of Randy Plowman's pieces. And it's a beautiful charcuterie board or serving board. This one's a little different because it has the two handles on the ends. It's nice and long, done in ash and walnut. Gorgeous, gorgeous wood grain on that. Beautiful finish as well. He always does such a fine finish on all of his pieces.
This camera really is not doing the wood grain justice.
No.
It's gorgeous.
It is, isn't it? The picture is better, but still live is even best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't, video's just not capturing the true color or the true wood grain of what's going on there. This is $80. Again, it's hand done. And that walnut inlay goes all the way through, kids. It's not just an inlay on the top. Those are boards that have been put together, laminated together, and beautifully finished.
There's
Again,
a lot of work that goes into it. As a
Yeah.
woodworker myself, I know the work that goes into that, just the layout, the gluing up, the planing, the finishing, putting the handles on, putting the feet on, doing all that he does, and he puts everything in such a nice little, the way he packages his products and everything else. This one is 24 inches long, 8 inches wide.
Yes. So a great size. Again, it's got the feet on the bottom, the rubber feet on the bottom, so it lifts it up off the countertop surface a little bit. This would also serve well as a home for some of those kitchen items. You could use this to maybe place your canisters of your sugar, flour, coffee, whatever, and it all makes it to this nice little home to make it look less cluttered. So one, it can be used for serving things, or two, it can serve a purpose as a home for objects on your countertops. All right. We had a bunch of other great items within the video as well. We're just featuring a few live tonight. If there are things that you would like more information on, or a few things that you would like to see in person, feel free to drop us a comment and ask about those items. Feel free to stop in if you're local and check out these items that you saw in the video or that you saw live in person at the boutique. Trish and I would be happy to share them with you. For those of you that comment with questions, we'd be happy to answer those for you as well. If you want to know what we're doing in the day-to-day, the projects that James was mentioning, you know, us doing different kitchens and bathrooms for people, follow us on our Instagram page. We often post projects that we're working on or different things that are coming in. I'm actually making a post tomorrow, one about that bar, so you can see that, and two, a beautiful, gorgeous bathroom that we just wrapped up today. It's
But that bathroom turned out stellar, didn't it?
so pretty. I can't wait to share those.
We're going
pictures
back
with you.
in 2 weeks to do her guest bath for her. She's so pleased with the master.
Is that the one you sent pictures of?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It is gorgeous. Oh,
Yes.
man.
Super pretty. So we thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We apologize for the little sound glitch at the beginning, but glad and happy that all of you stuck around. So glad to meet up with all of you guys. Chrissy and Jana and Regina and April, hi, and Nancy and Maria and everyone else. Thank you so much for watching tonight. We will see you next week.